onto the Western Conference tiers. I have five
four
tiers. I don't have a favorites tier here. I just have a contenders tier because I don't think there's a favorite. My contenders are OKC, the Dallas Mavericks, the Timberwolves, and the Denver Nuggets.
Mine's
still got Jokic, still got their big three. I think they'll be fine.
More than that?
Dark horse contenders. Here's where I'm getting a little spicy. I think Memphis can have a bounce back year, and they could be a dark horse contender.
Hold the fucking phone.
He's nuts.
I think the Memphis
hater
Grizzlies.
is saying the Grizzlies can bounce back.
I think this past season was a terrible year for them, but they found a great defender in Vince Williams. They found a good rookie in G.G. Jackson at the wing spot with Ja, Desmond
need a
Bane,
big.
those two, Triple J. They drafted Zach Edey.
Oh, they
Marcus
did
Smart.
draft Zach Edey.
They got Marcus Smart.
Clark
I think,
is coming back too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
If they have a healthy year, this team could be a dark horse contender.
forgot they drafted
The question mark with them is still the half court offense, though. How's that going to look? You need to have a different plan there. And then the Pelicans, I have as a dark horse contender. If they're
What's happening
healthy,
to BI?
Zion's
What's happening to BI? That's the
I don't know.
question.
I think he's getting moved.
OG, when they were healthy, post All-Star break, one of the best defenses, one of the best
Love this
offenses.
stat.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, I guess.
The wheels fell off. Sucked.
So say that second tier again. Sorry.
It was dark horse
Grizzlies,
contenders, the Grizzlies and the Pelicans.
Oh, just those two.
Yeah.
When they're healthy.
And then I have
Damn good squad.
playoff teams. I got the Lakers as a playoff team. I don't think they're a
But
dark
we're
horse
not dark
contender.
horse, but the fucking Pelicans
I don't
are.
think
What the
so.
hell?
I think the Pelicans are more
He went
talented.
from
Didn't they
gassing
smoke
him
out?
to
Wait, hold up. Didn't the Pelicans smoke the Lakers in the play-in, or I'm bugging?
They did.
Didn't
Zion had 40.
the Pelicans smoke y'all in the play-in?
We lost
When it comes to them Lakers, man,
No.
he don't play.
We won.
He don't play
Zion had
about
40
them.
though.
Zion
And they
still
lost.
No, if Zion stayed in that game, y'all wasn't winning that game.
We were up double digits, and then
And
Zion
then they
started
came back.
tweaking. Yes.
so-
AD couldn't guard him.
We couldn't.
The other team I have in the
That's why-
playoff teams tier.
Don't give up on him.
He got hurt, bro.
Don't give up on him,
As
OG.
soon as you-
OG, I promise you, if he's gonna stay healthy, he's gonna validate
Drew,
us.
as soon as he reeled you in, he had 40. And then
Oh
he
my God!
got hurt. And
Nah,
it's like,
he had you know how difficult it was to watch that game and be like 100%. Let's go Lakers.
No.
When my dog was going
Zion was
crazy
killing-
for 40.
Him and Alvarado was wild
Drew,
in that game.
you know that Valanciunas, your best rebounder, gone.
All right.
Larry
See ya.
Nance, your best
That's tough.
rotation guy.
Larry
One of
Nance
your
is
best.
That's
Gone.
Misi. We just
Come get
drafted him.
Jarrett.
So don't forget Najee Marshall, gone.
My playoff teams,
Believe,
I
OG.
had the
Trust.
Lakers as my playoff team. I had the Suns as one of my playoff teams as well. I think the Suns, all things considered, they got a little bit better this offseason by bringing in Monte Morris, Mason Plumlee. They'll still be a playoff team,
Brian
even though they
Dunn.
won't be a contender. Then I have my playing teams, the Warriors, which if they get Laurie, that could change. But as
sure.
of right now, even though I think they've had a good offseason, they compensated for losing Clay with Buddy Hield, D'Anthony Melton, and Kyle Anderson. I thought that was really good.
You just don't have a number two
yeah,
scorer.
you still don't have
Anthony
number
Melton,
two scorer.
That Anthony Melton losing,
Unless-
Philly losing him was a big deal.
better make some fucking moves. I haven't done anything.
Kaminga takes another leap.
You got to hope for that.
At this point, we've said no to everybody. He better look like Jalen
Yeah.
Brown next year. 'Cause
Yeah,
if he
OD.
does it, I'm gonna kill myself.
I have the Kings.
And I'm like, nah, I'm so serious. Like,
I have
I'll
the
make sure to
Kings
keep an eye out on you. Please,
The
sir, we need
Rockets-
you is right.
shit hurts me, man.
and the Clippers as playing teams. Those are the other ones
Okay.
next to the Warriors. And then a lot
Clippers
of
had a
teams,
sneaky good offseason too.
they did, but you're losing Paul
Riv, you
George.
better not ever talk to me
bro.
about the Clippers. I'm sick
about
of
to-
you with
I'm
the
about to
Clippers.
talk. Wait,
No,
time.
you better not, Riv. Okay? Of all the teams, you better not talk to me
I'm
about. I
about
don't
to-
hear a word
about
from
to
you
talk-
because you
about to
tried
talk.
to sell me. Okay, I'm sorry, Joe.
OG, was we not rolling 25 and what? 5? We was moving. Life looked great at that point.
Did you get fooled this year or no?
No.
You didn't?
I got fooled.
A lot of people did. We fooled the world.
No, you didn't.
Kawhi almost had us. Almost.
He almost had me on the hook, Drew.
He did.
He did. I'm not gonna lie to you,
James
Drew.
Harden almost had you.
He almost-
Y'all
James
smoked
Harden
this
never
at
had
home.
me
I
on
was
the hook.
like,
Never.
Shit real.
Shit looked different that day, Dallas. That's all I'm gonna say, man.
And then the
We beat
last
Boston
tier,
and shit.
just lottery teams, the Jazz, Spurs, and Trailblazers. That's just
Spurs, you're
lottery
not
teams.
high on them no more?
The West is just loaded.
Yeah, super.
But adding
Interesting.
Chris Paul, I mean,
Stop.
Hear me out, Riv. Hear me out.
That's
I
a
watched
great
them-
move.
It's a great move.
I watched him play all year.
Right.
Wemby's about to average 34.
I watched him all year.
Two San Antonios
Yes.
fall.
Good bet.
They did not have anybody that could consistently get
For sure.
Wemby the ball.
Chris Paul would
Now,
definitely feed Wemby.
I feel like Wemby is going to improve with Chris Paul being able to just get him the ball. And I feel like Chris Paul is going to be able to teach those guys,
Yes.
the other guys, how to get him the basketball.
No, he's
So
he's an amazing locker room.
100% that. I'm not, this is not Chris Paul from 3 years ago where I'm asking him
Not
to play
even last
28, 25, 30 minutes a night because I know for a fact that he's going to break down. And he know that too. That's why he's not interested in doing that much for this crew. I think Wemby is going to be that much better that we may have a conversation.
There we go.
We may have a conversation later on in the year about them sneaking into the play-in tournament.
You mentioned a great point about Chris Paul, OG. With Chris Paul, I feel like the biggest value he brings to the Spurs is mentorship.
Yes.
What he is now known for, his legacy, is turning around franchises. The Clippers, the Suns, the Rockets had their best years with him.
OKC.
And OKC, you're right, they made the playoffs with him. He
Strike that one up, bro.
overachieves in places. I feel like right now what the Spurs desperately need,
Greedy.
they need somebody to come into the team and the organization and teach these guys how to play basketball, how to actually play at the professional level, how to train, how to prepare, and how to read the floor. And I think Chris Paul could be huge for the developments of a guy like Stephon Castle,
Yes,
even Wemby,
yes. I forgot
Trey
my guys out
Jones,
there.
Devin Vassell.
Maybe help him out
Yes.
as a playmaker.
Now we're
too.
here though.
I think those guys benefit a lot to where this year the Spurs are not going to get the fruits of their labor, but I think 2 to 3 years down the line, when the Spurs are really good, we'll look back at this moment and we'll say Chris Paul was a catalyst of that.
But West tiers, OG, let me see. Listen, I got a little West tiers for you. Let's see how it looks. I have 4 tiers. I have a shit ton of teams. So tier 1 for me.
I mean, 15.
No,
Yeah,
I'm saying
15
I
total
have a
teams.
shit ton of teams in one specific tier. Yes, relax. Tier 1, I only have 2 teams. Tier 1 is Thunder and Dallas. Those are the only 2 teams I think improved. I think the
Denver
Thunder
can't win a championship.
No, I think they can win a championship, but I think Thunder and Dallas should be the favorites walking into the year.
Tier 1 is favorites.
Yes, they should be the favorites walking. I think Dallas improved mightily this offseason from already making the finals. I think for the Thunder, they made the second round. That experience is there, and they got better by adding in Caruso. So I think that those 2 teams are there. Tier 2, I think it's just Minnesota and Denver. I think those guys are still favorites, but I will put them slightly under those 2 front teams. I don't think Minnesota, they really didn't have any wiggle room to get better. They just had to have a good draft. And then for Denver,
did.
Sure, yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then Denver, unfortunately, they lost KCP. They're relying internally on getting better. And when you still have the best player in the world, I got to put you somewhere. So I'm gonna put them in tier 2. Tier 3 is a shit ton of teams. You got the Pelicans, the Kings, Memphis, Warriors, Clippers, Suns, Houston. I think all of those teams are playoff teams, play-in teams. It's kind of the same thing because the West, you can't separate play-in and playoffs because I feel like over the last 3 years, it's been so close where it comes down.
You think the 10th team is just as good as the 5th?
I think the 10th team seeding-wise could be just as close as the 6th seed. Like I saw last year or 2 years ago, the Lakers, the Kings, the Warriors. And
We were in dogfights.
Yeah, we were in dogfights the last 20 games of the season because it was like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I think those are all playoff playing teams.
Sacramento and the Warriors won 46 games.
Yes, they were amazing.
It was insane. And then tier 4 is Utah, Portland, and Spurs. They all will be not good teams.
Okay. All right, I'm fine with that.
Laurie can change one of these teams, a specific team, to jump into tier 2.
I
I'm
agree
not
with
going to
that.
speak on that, though. We're just going to wait till it happens.
Laurie definitely can make a team jump or fall.
One team.
Correct. Mostly jump, no fall. The only fall would be the Jazz, but how much further can they really go? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiers.
didn't
I
number
have
them.
the favorites. You don't number them. You
did.
number
I
them?
put numbered the
Okay,
team.
cool.
Okay.
I did bullet points. So my favorites, I have Oklahoma City. I'm going to put them in a tier of their own right now.
Damn.
I think that they need to understand that.
Dallas beat them. They got better.
Who?
Dallas.
You're saying Dallas got better.
Dallas beat them and got better.
No, but OKC got overwhelmingly better.
You love Caruso, so I understand why you said that.
But Dallas
And
beat
also
them.
got IH, which desperately what they needed. They beat him a lot, primarily because Chet was getting bullied by
also
Lively.
couldn't
Also,
defend the
can
corner.
we be
also couldn't
fair
shoot.
and say Dallas beat them? Kyrie averaged 17, and Luka was not
might do
Luka
it
for the
again.
entire
J
series.
Dub was
PJ Washington also had
underwhelming.
a Caleb
Chet
Martin
was
moment.
underwhelming.
Okay.
Might
Dort
have been
really
bigger.
couldn't hit a knockdown, couldn't hit a wide open 3 to save his life. Caruso's gonna do that.
And if Kyrie, now next time they match up in the playoffs, plays much better, and Luka plays much better,
just think they should be the
can
same.
still
It's
beat
hard to
them.
be tier your own, and you haven't even made the WCF yet.
This is
Let alone
my
finals.
tier list.
You're right. My fault.
My favorites are
Sorry.
OKC. Can be
Lakers in there then.
Can be the number one. They're not the favorites.
Okay. You're less.
Can be the number 1 seed. I have the Nuggets. I have Dallas. I have the Wolves. I have the Grizzlies. There's a world where they can be the number 1 seed. The West is such a crapshoot with the way that I saw them play 2 years ago when John Morant was out of the lineup. Completely different team now. But you already mentioned it. You have Vince Williams now. There's a lot more consistency on the defensive side, and offensively, Bane has gotten better. Ja is going to be amazing naturally offensively. Jaren Jackson's really going to be that X factor for me. What are we going to get from him consistently on the offensive side? But defensively, I really don't have too many worries with this Grizzlies team.
I think we get a lot more from.
He's playing the 5
I think we get a lot more from Jaren Jackson this year, off the strength of Zach being there. I feel like he can be more of a stretch forward than he was
Zach's
last
in the
season.
start?
Yes, I do.
You think so?
Yes,
I think he might play 20 minutes a game.
I think
Just to put
Brandon
this out
Clark
there.
will be the starting 5.
They might throw Jaren at the 5.
I think he
put
plays.
GG and Vince out there.
Vince can.
GG could play the 4.
You know what? I like where your head's at.
You know, just to put
You
it
think
out
GG
there,
starts?
You have Smart off the bench.
I wouldn't be mad at it. Run the second unit.
it's not
I
terrible.
wouldn't be mad.
I don't want to start Smart with Ja, with Bane.
You already have
That's
Bane
a
and
small
Vince Williams
lineup.
at the 2 and the 3. I feel like those are solidified.
It's a little small, but they're, Marcus Smart is great defensively. Him and Vince Williams in the star lineup would be great, but then you have to have Vince at the 4, and now Jaren Jackson.
Vince is like
5.
6'5".
But like,
That's a
is
small
Vince a
lineup.
lock starter also?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think, no.
That's what I'm thinking
I think
too.
the only locks are Jared, Bane, and Ja.
One thing's for sure, though, I think Zach Edey is different from these other 4-year college centers that can't move very well. Zach Edey was legitimately dominant inside the paint, and he was a positive defensively. He is limited on defense to drop coverage, but so is like 80% of centers, right? Walker Kessler, as a rookie, was one of the elite premier rim protectors. He's limited in drop coverage too.
It's hard.
So it's not terrible. Zach Edey, I think, is an actual good NBA player, and I think he'll show it in Memphis.
So my can be top 6. I do have the Lakers. This is where I have the Pelicans. I have the Kings, and I have the Suns. This one is kind of self-explanatory for the understanding that the Lakers, again, were right there on the cusp of being a top 5, top 6 team, just missed out. Pelicans, same thing. Before B.I. got injured, this was a top 5 team that ended up falling. The Kings, talk to me. Are the Kings the team that you're talking about?
Why can't the Warriors be top 6?
I
But those
thought about
teams
it.
can.
I thought about it. I
They
did.
were a Draymond Green suspension away from being top 6.
You said it yourself.
And they got better.
You still, I don't know if you did. I say that with the idea.
Didn't get worse.
You didn't get worse. I
couldn't have
agree.
got worse.
You didn't get better because you said it
didn't
yourself. You
replace Clay.
still don't have a secondary
Well,
scorer.
that's for championship aspirations. We got better as a team,
Yeah, but like even
They did.
like by far.
Because Buddy
marginally-
Hield, he can average 16
But you guys
a
are
night.
just a 10 seed.
Anthony
We weren't
Melton, if
far
he's
off from
healthy,
the
is really
Kings,
good.
though.
That's true. It was a 46 win 10 seed, but at the same time,
Like, what
It
have
was
the
just-
Kings done this offseason to make them a top 6 lock? Like that we didn't
I didn't
do.
say top 6 lock.
Well, I'm saying,
I said
I
can
meant to
be.
say in that tier that we didn't do.
I just think offensively, there's a lot more consistent than you guys. Defensively, they got a lot better now that Keon Ellis has stepped in.
But then, I guess. Okay.
You
See,
know,
the problem with the Warriors is that when your aging star is still awesome,
yes,
it's difficult to move off of that
agreed.
because
I'm fine with that.
it's difficult to move
See,
off
listen,
of
you
that.
get Laurie, of course.
I don't see the Lakers didn't get better. They have the same team.
but
I think if the
we
Warriors
did get
get
better
Laurie, they're
because
contenders.
Darvin's not our head coach.
A dark horse contender.
Listen, I still in playing teams. You guys are at the top of my list. I do have Golden State.
I just don't get how the Kings can just be in there and not the.
I don't think you guys are a top 6 team.
I don't think the Kings are either, though.
I think they can be, and they flirted with it all season
So
long.
did the Warriors. Your
Top 6?
argument isn't consistent.
That's not
It's hard
true.
to sell me on
You-
the Kings being top 6.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if they were a
They're
top
like-
6.
Offensively, they still are one of the better teams. Defensively,
off
they were.
offensively last year.
They did because I think we saw a resurgence in a lot of other teams' offenses.
don't-
And dropping off, they went from top 2, top 1, or whatever it
like
was,
12,
because it was them and the Nuggets, to 12.
To be top 6,
They had
the
a better
Kings-
offense than the Nuggets this past
To
season.
be top 6, the Kings would have to be better than one of these teams. The Thunder, Mavericks, Timberwolves, Nuggets, Grizzlies, Lakers, Suns.
They can be. My playing teams, I have Golden State, I have the Clippers, I have Houston, I do have San Antonio. And my lottery squads, I have Portland and I have Utah.
So you trust the Kings over the Clippers?
I do.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Where'd you have the Clippers?
Same tier as all the teams. I think
feel
they're all in the
because
same
a
tier.
lot of teams top 4. It's really difficult for me.
If you're telling me James Harden and Kawhi are going to play 60 to 65, which Kawhi just did, oh, they're
Is
going
Kawhi
to be
gonna
better.
play in
I was going
April?
to say, Sabonis,
Kawhi just did for the first time in like 8
Sabonis
years.
and De'Aaron, don't get hurt.
8 years
Kawhi,
is a
is
lot.
Kawhi playing in April?
Ooh, 8 years was a lot.
Kawhi playing in April.
Oh my God, you
It was
got
2024,
It was
bro.
6
Rip.
years. Okay, 6 years.
Rip.
Was it
Is
6?
Kawhi
He played
playing in
19.
April?
He played
It was
60.
That was 6 years
2017.
ago.
I'm
That was
sorry.
5.
No.
And with the Clippers in 21, hold on.
Riv,
Yes.
is Kawhi playing in April. I don't give a shit about 60 to 65 games because every single year April comes around, he's not playing.
My bad. 60 games flat in 2018, 2019. But the last time he's played
you're
70 games was 2016,
He played 68 last
2017.
year.
17,
Maybe.
right.
We were talking about Kawhi.
That was close to 8 years
That
ago.
was 7 years ago.
Pardon me, I thought he did it with the Clippers. 3 games off.
Kawhi?
3 games off.
Kawhi didn't play.
He played 68 this year.
Oh, I thought it was 70.
He close to it.
So close. Would you?
You count the
actually know?
playoffs, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with Dell on this.
What?
You know, this is the fourth time in 5 years he's missed the playoffs with them. Yes.
It's great he plays 68
I
games.
just want to make sure that we clear on that, Rick.
But he's
This
not
is the
playing in the
fourth-
playoffs.
this
It
is
does not
the
matter.
fourth time in 5 years he's missed the
We're
playoffs.
not talking about players. We're talking about seeding.
Which is even worse. Because what happens if he does play 65 games or 70 games?
They'll be a
they
top
get
6 seed.
And I don't know. Let's take it a step further than that,
They'll
Rip.
be top
They get
6
the number 3 seed.
Oh, it's up.
And
I
then what
won.
happens? And he
then
he breaks down again.
That's not what I'm
and
arguing.
bounced out the door like an underage kid trying to get into a club.
That's not what I'm arguing here.
Oh my God.
I'll be honest, I don't even do my tiers based off seeding because I think the seeding is stupid in the West.
What are your tiers?
So
Okay.
tier 1, I got championship contenders. I see all 4 of these teams. The 4 I think you mentioned, Riv: Nuggets, Thunder, Wolves, and Mavs.
I mentioned the 2, Dose.
So did Joel.
Thank you.
It's difficult for me to have any of these teams over the other. OKC got better, but this is still a super young team. You still need leaps from J-Dub or Chet to really become a true championship contender. And Caruso and Hartenstein, great additions, 2 of the best role players in the NBA. But that doesn't take you from, the first seed in the West to you were clear, in a way, the number 1 seed in the West. I think Denver has a real conversation because I don't know how great they still match up with Nikola Jokic. Dallas just went to the finals. And the Timberwolves, I think they're probably the bottom out of these teams because I still think half-court offense could be an issue. Lost Kyle Anderson, and Rob Dillingham's a question mark. Tier 2, I think these are teams that things need to break their way, but they can make a deep playoff run. I have the Memphis Grizzlies and I have the LA Lakers. I still believe that the Lakers have when you have 2 top 10 players, I think JJ Redick is a massive upgrade at head coach. Again, I'm guessing here we're all kind of speculating what JJ is going to be, but Darvin Ham was a bottom 10 coach, and I'm putting that nicely. And then tier 3, this is where it's just like these can all be playoff teams, but I don't trust any of them to make a serious playoff run.
Dell, you thought he was garbage?
Clippers, Suns, Pelicans, Kings, Rockets, Warriors.
In the playoffs, he was horrendous.
I thought Darvin Ham was really bad.
You liked him?
I did not think he was that good.
I didn't hate him. Let me just
The
say
team
that.
was also ass.
Yeah,
But that's why we're having
You want to
arguments
talk
with the
about why
Kings and the
AD
Warriors
wasn't
and the
getting the ball?
Clippers.
Darvin Ham was like,
Bro,
come
I know
on,
your team's
guys,
so
give
good,
good
you don't want
effort.
to have arguments like
But
that.
I
drawing
just,
up
it
plays
feels
for
like
shit.
it feels useless.
His
'Cause it's
rotations
like,
were
the Clippers
trash.
could be the 3 seed. The Lakers could be the 7 seed. And then they match up, or Clippers are 2 seed, Lakers are 7. They match up, Kawhi's hurt. Now the Lakers are better. And you know what I mean?
You can't predict all that. I get.
I think I can predict it with
we
Kawhi.
can predict-
I think
yes,
I can
we
predict
can.
it with all due
Ray,
respect.
that's really
I
what-
think I can
No, I'm just
predict
talking
it.
about in terms of just in general. You can't predict that. Like nobody's going
But
into
we're specifically talking about
Kawhi,
the
yes,
Clippers.
you could
But there's a
Yes,
reason
yes,
why
yes.
the Clippers are they'll make the playoffs, but I don't
Yes,
trust
yes,
them.
yes.
to.
Wait,
for
you
sure.
think that the Clippers are a serious team?
No.
To make the playoffs, not a contender.
make the playoffs. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's fine.
Yeah.
They a lock to make
That's
the playoffs.
fine.
I don't know if they're a lock.
There's
Their
no
starting
such thing
lineup
as a
is
lock outside
pretty
the top
ugly.
4. What's their starting
It's
lineup?
Really, it's
James
ridiculous
Harden,
to think that the
Harden,
Terrence Mann,
Kawhi.
Wait,
Kawhi.
Powell is.
Norman Powell's probably going to come off the
They
bench.
could probably start all 4.
I was gonna say Powell could start.
Derrick Jones Jr. Does he start
Bleh.
or what?
You could start them.
He has to start.
And Zubats.
I don't get how terrible. That's not terrible.
It sounds pretty terrible.
That's
stacked
not
against
terrible.
us.
I
Who's playing
actually
the
didn't
two?
hate
Terrence
that.
Mann?
Terrence Mann at the 2.
Kevin Porter Jr. is a 6th
I'm
man,
just playing.
right?
Kevin Porter Jr.
You
It
didn't
really,
move me,
yeah.
man. You lied. That's not
That's
bad.
actually firm.
It was.
You
That's
have
firm.
Harden, Man, Kawhi, Derrick Jones Jr., Zubac. That's
Where's the
not bad.
spacing on that team?
I'll be honest,
Mann,
it's the first round
and
exit
Kawhi.
team. Respectfully,
Yeah.
it's first round exit.
Terrence
If-
Mann gets left open. Derrick Jones Jr. gets left open.
Yeah.
If Kawhi's
40
there,
ball in the playoffs.
Is
Respect
it
him.
ridiculous
No,
to think
for
that they
sure.
could miss the playoffs?
it's not ridiculous.
No.
It's not ridiculous.
No.
No, absolutely not. But like,
Listen, I think they did a good job for compensating for losing Paul George, but the roster
it's not terrible.
it's not moving me either though. I think Derrick Jones Jr. what he offers as a vertical spacer, James Harden can take advantage of that because he's similar to
bro,
Luka
he's mid.
as a playmaker.
No,
I think he'll be the primary point of attack defender.
For sure.
I just think their offense having Terrence Mann, who can't really space the floor,
but he's
who's
been in the
gets
lineup
left
for
open,
his whole
Derrick
career.
Jones Jr., who can't space the floor, who's going to get left open, and then Zubac having 3 non-floor spacers. I think you can convince me more on their depth being
Well, Terrence Mann,
a big part of their
for
team.
starters, Terrence Mann rarely spends time on the 3-point line. That's number one. He's usually in the dunker spot or cutting, so he won't be out there. So you have to guard him because he's down. He's under the 3-point line. Number 2, all we were saying was this team is still good enough to make the playoffs.
If Kawhi misses 20 games, they're a lottery team.
Possibly. For sure.
There's a strong
You
chance
say,
he misses
but
20
wait,
games.
if Fox misses 20 games, they're a lottery team. If Steph Curry misses 20 games, they're a lottery team. If LeBron misses 20 games, they might be a lottery
They
team.
can stay afloat.
So with all of that being said, Rev, who is more likely to miss 20
Oh,
games?
no, it's the Clippers for sure. But I'm just saying, this is a good team nonetheless.